What's up, guys? What's going on? Welcome to Traders Edge Crypto Live. My name is Lawton Ho, and I'm joined with the good-looking man, Andrew Dosek.
Hey, good storytelling right there, Lawton. I appreciate it, sir.
So, for those of you who are new, for those of you who have never seen us before, don't know quite what's going on, we're going to try and day trade crypto, answer some questions for you guys. And here's the most important thing, guys. If you guys want to get in on the action and actually ask us questions, you can do so on the verifiedinvesting.com website. That's right. You can only ask questions on the Verified Investing website. If you go to the homepage right now, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, or wherever else you're watching from, you want to go ahead and switch to our website, our homepage, where you can submit questions. I'm going to feed them to Drew. We're going to look at some charts and try to answer some questions. Drew, how are the crypto markets looking?
Bitcoin's looking pretty solid. So first off, let's get into a potential trade opportunity right away. I've got an order set up right here. You can see on the screen of Blowfin, KAIA USDT. Right here, I've got a short opportunity at 13 cents. Just over 13 cents. You see my order there, 0.1312. So we're not that far away. So I'm sitting there with 1/10 of a position, and I'm using 3 times leverage on Blowfin. So while we wait for that to get filled, just to kind of go over the Bitcoin chart, you can see here on the 10-minute chart that Bitcoin is currently facing a little bit of resistance. You can see this from pivot to pivot, and I'll flash back out to the daily so you can get a little bit better idea where this trend line is coming from. It's coming from a high pivot here, strung down through that next pivot, and then price action is piercing it right now. So if I zoom in on that chart, you can see what happened to price when it came up to it, eventually pierced, and then got rejected, and then now it's up on the high end side of this, still not confirming above, putting in a lot of 10-minute topping tails right here. So it's telling me Bitcoin and the overall general markets are a little bit weaker for crypto. So let's flip back over. Have not yet got filled on a short play here on KAIA. We may even explore potentially a Bitcoin short too, should Bitcoin keep pushing up a little bit more. What are you seeing on the crypto market yourself there, Lawton?
Yeah, I'm just taking a look. I mean, Bitcoin was, putting in a head and shoulders pattern. It broke down a little bit on the daily chart and popped back up. And I just want to remind everyone that we're sponsored by Blowfin. It is the exclusive crypto exchange of verified investing. If you want to be able to short like us, like we're doing right now, you can go ahead and check out blowfin.com, or you can go to our website, verifiedinvesting.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, look at our sponsors, and click on Blowfin. If you sign up using that link, you'll get some extra rewards. And again, for everyone just joining in, if you want to ask us questions, you can go to the Verified Investing website. I only have 2 questions so far, and I know there's hundreds, thousands of you guys watching right now. If you want to get your questions answered, again, you have to go to the verifiedinvesting.com website in order to submit your questions. Let's see if we get filled here.
Yeah, getting pretty close. We're talking about fractions of a penny, literally.
So what is your reasoning for getting into this short? What do you like about this?
Well, I like the extended move that it's had so far today, and I'll flip back over to trading view so you can get a better idea of it. But look at this move on the 10-minute chart over the past couple days. We were down here trading right here at 10.7 cents. Look at this beautiful move up, consolidation, and then another move up, another exhausted move up. Then what I really like here is this reversal pattern that's displayed on the chart. In the most immediate time frame, the near-term time frame, if you look here on the chart, basically from where my cursor is to the right, we've had a downward move and bearish consolidation. This is all inside bar bearish consolidation. Now, on a larger time frame, this is a big solid move for this cryptocurrency. And I still think in the medium term, it could go higher. We could be looking at this next trend line as some potential resistance areas, but this is a significant level with this major move up right into pivots and also displaying that reversal signal that I highlighted just a moment ago. And even if I throw in some further, technical analysis, we can see here this almost in essence is an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here on the chart. Now we did poke above it right here so that somewhat negates that power in delivering the full measured move. But right now, that's what I see there on KAIA. Kaya.
I mean,
another one, Onyx coin too. Onyx is not in Blowfin, this would be a potential good short opportunity too, just for a quick scalp. And if you see here on the 10-minute chart, we've already started coming right back down. Let me flip back over, see if I've been filled on Blowfin and have not yet been filled. See, I've got 25,000 shares short right there at 0.1312. We'll see if we get just a little bit more of a push up, fill us, so that we can take a little day trade. We're not going to be looking for a lot on this. If you recall, right back on the major chart of Kaya, that we're already near the lows of the chart. So this is going to be something that I want to short and hang on to for a long period of time. It's going to be just quickly a nice day trade for us to capitalize on some price movement into resistance. Now, Kai is starting to push up just a little bit here. And so let's flip back over to Blow, see if we get any sort of response. Now, keep in mind, too, this is on the futures trading. The futures trading is where I find it the easiest for me to get in and out of short positions or even long positions in cryptocurrencies. So we're so very close. Let's see if we get tagged here in the next little bit.
Yeah, and again, I know there's about 500 or 600 more people now since I last said it. Again, if you want to ask questions to us, I'm going to start fielding questions here in a second. You can go ahead and go to our website. That's the only place you can send questions to us, on the homepage of verifiedinvesting.com. Now, I haven't gotten to any questions yet, just because we're about to get filled on this this trade on Blowfin, but let's see if we're able to get filled here. Zachariah is saying Kaya also has bearish divergence on the 5-minute.
The RSI?
I'm assuming RSI, yeah. I mean, he didn't.
Yeah, it does a little
specify.
bit. See, it's starting to pull back in right now, too.
Mm-hmm. Dang, miss your entry so close. I mean, what would you even be looking to get on that trade?
Not too much. We'd be looking for, we're talking about this crypto is only 12, 13 cent value. Now we're starting to push back up. So we're still got a chance there to get filled. I'm starting to become a little bit more interested in shorting Bitcoin under 108,000 or just over 108,000. So let's go in there and here, look, we're starting to get a push up there on Kaya. I think we can pull down right here to this 0.1235, 12.35. I think we can hit that and pull back down right into these pivots. I think we'll be able to capture a little gain off of that. Let's flip over to Bitcoin real quick. And Bitcoin, you can see here on the futures, has not cracked that 108,000 area.
Yeah, and we have some comments about Bitcoin. I don't know if you want me to read those out for you.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll throw in a short there too on Bitcoin, right at the $108,250 level on the futures. We'll see if either of these get filled.
Sure, yeah.
Both Kaya and Bitcoin.
So as far as questions, first question is Sylvia saying Bitcoin, bearish divergence on Bitcoin on the 1 week and 1 month. Is this a sign of a potential major top?
It could be. It definitely could be. What you've got to really understand the bigger outlook, right? Like cryptocurrency in general started cracking, and I would use that term lightly, cracking before the market did. As we know, the markets are continuing to push higher in general with the spiders. And Bitcoin has already, on the daily chart, you can see here, already come off its highs. And then we created this head and shoulders pattern, which was negated by the move back up on Friday. Beautiful move back up. But look where it caught support, right here at 102,000. That's this trend line, guys, coming from a pivot low on November 26, strung along to the very next significant pivot after a move up. And that trend line so far has really ruled the chart of Bitcoin. You can see it's isolated right here, and I got a lot of other trend lines. But every time prices come back down to that trend line, it's gotten a bounce, except for the last time, and broke through. And then here when it moved up, it's curious. It never caught resistance right here. It just blew right through it. But then when it turned around and came down, it caught support here and then made brand new all-time highs. And we see there, too, where the all-time high hit the brakes. We had a trend line from pivot high to pivot high, and it hit the brakes right in that area and came back down. This could just be some retracement, because if you go back a little bit further on Bitcoin, look at the variation right here in price action. It's not like a really tight consolidated bull flag pattern. It's pretty big. It's pretty spread out. So I would, I'm not saying it's the end of the road for Bitcoin, but once we get above this 50% area, the parallel, we do open the door for further upside, potentially up to the top end of this parallel, right around 116. So we're kind of in no man's land. If we were to be trading today underneath this trend line from the head and shoulders, I'd say crypto's in some trouble on the near term. But right now, it's kind of in no man's land at the moment. We got so close to getting filled there on Kaya. Got up.
How about Bitcoin? Did you get filled on Bitcoin?
Let's see over on Bitcoin. And no, not filled on Bitcoin yet either.
All right, let's just repeat those levels for all the new viewers, because we do have about 500 new people who just came in since you just mentioned them. Again, guys, we're using Blowfin, which is the exclusive exchange sponsor here at Blowfin at Verified Investing. If you want to go check out Blowfin and be able to short like us, go to our website, scroll all the way to the bottom, click on our sponsors, and check out Blowfin. Use our link to sign up for some exclusive benefits. All right, again, what are those levels on Kaya and Bitcoin for a short that you're looking
at? So Kaya short that I'm looking, and this is the futures account, guys. So keep in mind, it's just slightly different than the spot location. The Kaya is 0.1312. You can see my order right here, strung all the way across, and it's right here on the right side of the ticker. And we go over into Bitcoin, and we're getting really close on both of these, folks. Bitcoin, I've got 108,250. So 108,250. And depending upon how Yep. Depending upon how we get filled on either, if we do, I may adjust that too. We just need to see price action and see we're getting so very close. It could end up being a benefit if we get close and not get filled, because the volatility doesn't seem to really be moving too much. You can see here on Bitcoin, we've moved up and we're just kind of chopping right here. So the more we hang out up here and chop sideways, especially with this near-term 10-minute pattern, that's a near-term bull flag. And you got to understand too, with patterns, they don't necessarily always work for the shorter time frame, and shorter time frame being these last 4 candles. The larger time frame dominates whenever you're doing chart analysis. So the larger time frame is what we went over here, where we have this inclining parallel with the 50% area, including this declining trend line right here. That's a longer term trend line than what you're seeing right here take place right above this yellow trend line that was displayed on the daily chart. So the larger time frame is more of a force, which would mean that price should come back down underneath this trend line. The probabilities would dictate that. We're just looking for a slight higher push up on Bitcoin and a slight higher push up on Kaya, get us into these trades so we've got some action to trade with.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, while you're trying to get into a trade, I'm going to get into some questions again for all of you, the new 600 people that just joined. If you want to ask us questions, go ahead and check out the Verified Investing homepage. That's the only place you can send questions that I can read. We only have about 6 questions left, and for about 1,800 people plus in here, I'm sure you guys have more questions than that. So again, the Verified Investing homepage to ask questions. Jay is asking, which charts are best used and when for technical analysis while trading? 1 week, 1 day, 30 seconds, 30 minute. Well, here's what I'll say. It really depends on whether you're trying to go long, short, swing trade, day trade. These smaller time frames, especially like the 1 minute, 10-minute time frame, are really only useful for day trading, right? For shorter time frames. If you see a 1 minute head and shoulders, that's going to play out a lot sooner than if you look on a 1 month level and see a head and shoulders on the 1 month. So I'd say it really depends on your time horizon, the time you're expecting a move to play out. I think they're all great for technical analysis, but the moves are going to scale with the amount of time the time frame that you choose. Aksh says, looks like Bitcoin is going to 112,000. It very well may be. Can you please check Solana, Ethereum? So again, we're not just we're looking for trades first and foremost. So if you have anything in particular that you think that would be a potentially good day trade, send that out here. We're not doing so much chart analysis right now, guys. We're just trying to get into a trade. Zachariah says, would you be able to look at Launchcoin for a possible day trade? All right, there we
Let
go.
me
That's
enter,
the type of questions we want.
let me interrupt you for a second there, Lawton. I did just enter. I haven't entered yet, but I placed an order to short for Tau Bitensor at 412.85 on the futures. We're not far away from that. 412.85 currently at 411.10. So we're within a buck right now. Bitcoin still hasn't gotten filled. Kaya hasn't gotten filled either. And likely what's going to happen on the first one that I get filled, I'm probably going to take the orders off on the others just to focus on the one that I'm in.
And what I'll do is I'm going to put it up on the screen should we get filled.
Okay, great.
I'm going to put it up on the screen for you, the exact entry price.
Perfect. Thank you, Lawton.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Keep the questions coming. Again, we're not doing so much chart analysis as much as we're looking for a specific day trade. So we're focused on right now. We'll get to some questions about general things, like if you want us to look at Solana or Ethereum in general later, we can definitely take a look at that. But first and foremost, we're going to try and get a trade out for you guys. Just trying to get filled here.
And it looks like Bitcoin, I may need to adjust that. Let's see on Bitcoin. Yeah, we just keep putting in these beautiful topping tails. On the hourly chart, you can see we're just stalling right here. That could mean, though, for the longer term, this could be bullish consolidation for a move higher. But look in the fluctuation here. We have about, almost 1% all the way down from high to low. And that's perfect enough for us to go ahead and take a day trade. And Tau's starting to come in a little bit. Kaya is too. Got up here very close, right around 13 cents. It missed us by 6 thousandths of a cent so far.
All right. How about Tau? You in a Tau?
Yeah, Tau is a little bit further.
What's good? It's getting close.
Yep. Got about $1.70, $1.30.
Okay. LP, we're not answering questions about stocks. Again, this is Trader's Edge Crypto Live. So we're going to only answer crypto questions. While Drew is potentially going to get filled, let me keep going to the questions that you can send us questions on the Verified Investing homepage. Jeremy says, how does leverage influence the gain needed to exit the trade with a profit? What I mean is, if I use a higher leverage, does that mean that a small gain, say 1%, may actually result in a loss if I exited early? In other words, for 3 times leverage versus 5 times leverage, is there a difference percent gain needed to ensure that I'm actually net gaining and even accounting for the fees? So yeah, that's the number one thing that you need to keep in mind are the fees, right? Every single exchange has different free fees based on how much leverage you use. But it really depends. I would say that depending on what your exchange is, to go look those rates up. And it'll usually tell you, right? When you enter a position, at least on Blowfin, I believe, when you enter a position, it'll tell you what your break even is actually. I believe. I might be mistaken though. I'm going to start helping you look, Drew. I know there's a question about AVAX for short. I don't know. I don't see it. In fact, AVAX looks kind of bullish to me.
Yeah, I'd be a buyer of AVAX.
Yeah, it inverse head and shoulders actually looks, no, not really inverse head and shoulders, but still looks bullish.
It put in a low right around 15 cents. What was that, like maybe a couple months ago, and or a month ago, and then it started to come back up around the 20-cent area. I like that range for AVAX. It's a decent coin to stake too. I think it's just under 5% staking potential, so it's not the worst. But I do like that.
Yeah, I would say it looks bullish more than bearish. All right, let's go back to Kaya and Tao.
They are hanging out right here. And what this is telling me too is that likely if we get into this trade, it probably will play out a little slow too. So be prepared for that. We could be hopping off the mic and giving you advice as to what to do with the positions, because the volatility is not really there. It's just kind of either a slow float and then a slow drift and then a slow float.
Tao looks pretty good though. Tao looks like it looks like it's potentially making a head and shoulders pattern.
Correct. Yep. Good call there, Lawton. Right about here.
So I like Tao. Bitcoin, I don't like as much. It's okay, right? I like Tao better though.
Yeah. Tao could be getting close with this see how we broke this trend line on the 10-minute chart.
Yeah.
Which is in essence the neckline I think you were referring to, right? For the head and shoulders. Mm-hmm. And if we flip this over to the 1, you can see here we've tried to break it. Now we finally broke it. So we need price to come up just a little bit more, and then we should be headed a little bit lower on Tao.
Yeah, it looks good. Valentine says, do you guys use volume footprint, order flow, and or cumulative delta volume to see who is the aggressive side to validate/invalidate entries, or do you purely go with the chart pattern and key levels? In other words, what tools do you use, if any, when pulling the trigger? Tons of things, including volume, RSI, key levels. It's just tons and tons of different things. Right? If we listed every single thing we look at before getting into a trade, I'd be talking for like an hour, right? But we generally have a minimum volume we're looking at, just because we need a couple of things in order to trade. We need volatility, volume, and price action, right? Without those things, we cannot trade. Zechariah says, move looks bullish.
I just moved my entry for Tao down just a little bit lower at 411.
I know Tao looks good. Move for day trade, I think it looks good too, potentially. Yeah, I see that Zachariah broke up from a downsloping trend line, but I really like Tao. We're here.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll see which one gets filled, folks.
Let's see.
We're sitting pretty close on both, and this is a nice level to retrace right here on the 1. Now, Bitcoin rules the roost, so if Bitcoin decides to just start ripping higher, that could certainly hurt our positions short here that we're looking to get into. So you've always got to kind of keep your finger on the pulse. If ever you're day trading stocks, keep your finger on the pulse with the spiders, S&P 500. If ever you're day trading, crypto, Bitcoin is in essence somewhat of an equivalent there. I know that it's much more detailed and involved, the inner workings of stocks with the S&P 500 and the 500 companies that it makes up, and Bitcoin doesn't really hold all these other cryptos like the S&P 500 spiders does. So it's a little bit different, but it kind of operates the same way as far as when Bitcoin leads, the rest of the cryptos start pushing up higher too.
Kyle looks like it's going to fall too.
Right?
Wow. Yeah.
They both look. We just need a fill on. Oh man, guys, we're getting close here on Tao.
Okay.
About 60 cents, 59 cents away.
Thank you, Kate. Let's see here. One more pop, right?
Yep, just one more little pop.
That's 88 is your level, 411.88.
411.88 on the futures. Yep, I can see it ticking off right here. Just scroll off the screen. There it is right there, coming down.
Come on, guys. Let's get a trade. Get a trade, huh?
Yeah. Here we are, getting close, folks.
3 cents.
All right, there we go.
Oh, you're filled. All right, guys, we are short.
All right, so what I'm going to do, as I said, I'm going to go over to Bitcoin. I'm going to take off that that short there too. Just don't want to get swept on both in case we're Bitcoin starts running up. Kai, this one was a little bit more of an aggressive play, just simply because we're so near the lows of the charts. Tao's now moved up quite a bit. So I'm going to take Kaya off as well, and we'll just focus on Tao for the time being.
Yeah.
Tao, this is a very strong cryptocurrency, so I'm not afraid to add to this either. And let's flip back over to TradingView to take a look at this. So you can see Tao. Let me get the daily time frame. All right, so Tao, as you see, is just starting to break above this declining near-term trend on the daily chart. It's had an extraordinary run up here, over 100% from the lows. And so you have a move there, 184%, incredible move. But then notice where prices come down to, caught support right here in all of this consolidation. Right now, it's a reflex bounce up and starting to push higher as we speak, breaking through this little area of resistance. Now, next add on Tao is likely going to be, I'm going to keep it pretty tight. We're going to go right up here on these pivots, right around 414.60, 414.50. We'll likely add a little bit in there for a quick day trade option there for us. So we'll just go in here and adjust it appropriately. So 414.50, and then put in 7 more shares to sell short and confirm up there. So we'll keep it pretty tight. On Tao too, what I'm looking for with a move up like this, we're up 7.69% today, so about 29 points. I think I'd be looking for about $3 to $4 on this as a short.
About 1% pullback.
Yeah, so. Is that about right? $3 to $4.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
somewhere around.
You're exactly right.
Just under.
Under. 1% is at $4. So yeah, about $3 to $4.
What's up, guys?
We have a new challenger. What's going on, Ben? You missed it. You kind of missed out on the fun.
Did I? What did I miss?
For one, we're shorting Tao right now. TAO, trying to take about a 1% gain on this. About $1 or so.
About $4. That should put us down there.
$4. Sorry, excuse me. $4.
It's all good. 407.88 roughly. What's great about this too, folks, and so we can select our take profit areas. So like add a take profit level, we can have that down here wherever we want to put it. So if we put it, say 411.88, 407.88, we'll put it like right there. Take profit 407.90. So we'll see if we get any sort of flow, continued moving profit or moving price action down lower on that chart. Now let's flip over.
For sure.
How Bitcoin continues to struggle a little bit right here. Look at look at those wicks.
I know it doesn't like that level. It's just coming down, but when it bursts through, I think it's going higher. But let's hopefully this Tao can work out. Let me get into some questions again for the new 700 or so people that's entered since I last repeated this. If you want to ask us questions, go ahead and check out the verifiedinvesting.com homepage where you can submit your questions. It's the only place you can submit questions, and we'll get into some of these analysis questions. In fact, Anonymous says, "Hi guys, love that you're doing it again." Yes, we're doing this every single week. That means every single week, Monday at 11:30, you're going to see the Three Stooges. The three of us.
Stooges. Is that what we're going with now?
We're trying to get you some Three Musketeers.
Yeah, I like that better.
Okay, all right, Three Musketeers.
Like candy bar too.
Yeah. I agree, Ben.
I never had any of those before. But yeah, leave questions on our.
All right, it looks like we're back. It looks like everybody left the screen. I was like, all right, I guess that's it. That concludes it. We were talking about the Three Stooges and Three Musketeers, and then all of a sudden we vanished.
And Ben knocked us all out with that comment. He's a strong guy. We got to be careful with what we say next time. And if Lawton gets back on, watch out, Lawton. But yeah, so as you see here, we've got the screen back up. Currently just poked out of the money. Right here, we've got a ticker here. It shows a loss there of $1.32. And right now, we're just waiting for further pullback.
All right, sorry about that. I'm back. That was kind of crazy. I just left
Yeah, you did.
this plane of existence. Anyways, if you guys want our swing trades, you can get Drew and Ben and Garrett's swing trades on, what is it called? Smart Money Crypto.
That's
Yes.
Check it out. All right. Let's get into some analysis while we wait for this Tau to head up to play out. Juanius says, any analysis on Doge? Ben, you got that for me?
Yeah, let me go ahead and put up Dogecoin.
I got questions. Yep, Kate.
Here we go. Share screen.
Sorry about that, guys.
Window.
Yes.
I'm not sure why I'm not seeing my.
There we go. I just removed mine. You got it?
Yeah, give me a sec. Hold on.
I just see this block. All right, let's leave yours up since we're in a trade.
All right, let me try this again. All right, here we go. All right. Oh,
There you go. You're good.
Yep.
oh okay. I can't see it on my end. That's all right.
I can see it.
Sweet. So here is Dogecoin. I don't know why I have the downside target, but right now Dogecoin is getting pretty hammered on the daily basis. So the first long level that I would have, I don't know if it was a long question or a short question, just analysis. It's kind of a vague question. But if we get down into the 1642 level, that would be, for me, it would be a great swing trade level for a long. Another thing that I'm also noticing and just kind of looking at the charts is you've got this down sloping trend line right here. So it connects this pivot high at 25 cents, kind of connects right at this low pivot right here at 22 cents. And then it looks like it's retracing to this pivot low, or this pivot area right here around 1849. So on a technical basis, the third hit favors a move or a pullback, right? So now that it's coming from the underside, it looks like it's going to be rejected. Again, this is based on technical analysis, based in should get a rejection, could come back down to this low pivot right here. If it fails to hold at 1642, then it's likely to head down to 1520 and then even down as low as 1301. So this would be my first swing trade level, and then in every 10% or 15% or so, I would add to this position all the way down to 13 cents. So I'd probably add at 15 cents and then 13 cents. So that's what I have. If it breaks this upsloping trend line, it's probably going to want to head back up to at least 21 cents, if not all the way back up to 26.05. So that's what I have on my charts. It's what I'm currently seeing, at least.
Yeah, and if you guys want to leave your questions for us, go to the verifiedinvesting.com homepage. I don't see any new questions, so maybe you guys just don't have questions for us.
Well, you know what they say. You've got questions, we've got answered.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this chart. This thing is up 20. KAIA
Yep.
is up 20%. Were you looking this
Yeah,
up?
that was the other one we were looking to short. Yeah.
And look at that. It's starting to drop.
I know. Well, you've got this nice upsloping trend line right here. Look at this. So kind of like the opposite of what happened to Dogecoin, right? So you got 1, 2, third hit. Because it's from the top, it favors a move higher. And look at what happened. So if it comes from the bottom side, it's likely to pull back. Now that we've gotten a breakdown confirmation, a retrace of the scene of the crime would probably be where I would enter this for a short. Although it's not, it's already decently off of its highs, right? So it's 2% off of its highs, and it's not acting super volatile. So I may end up waiting on this. But right now, it favors a move lower.
Oh,
sure.
What was that view?
I don't know. There we go.
All right.
Ew.
All right. No.
All right.
Ew. All right. All right. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Okay.
I felt like we were
Altcoin.
playing musical chairs or something.
This is Drew's favorite coin. Remember you said you're gonna buy this, Drew? I can't hear you, Drew. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, totally wanted to, but that was for my son. I thought he was just going to get a kick out of it, and that was the only reason I wanted to buy it. But yeah, it certainly can make folks some money.
Yeah, this thing's super volatile.
Solomon says, when you enter a trade going your way, your direction, will you ever add to your position size? Not usually, but I mean, let's say it looks good, the level looks great, and it goes up. You may exit the position and re-enter on a pullback that's at a not quite down to your original entry, but on a retrace, right? So let's say we're entering a crypto, we take $1 on it and it pulls back 75 cents. We may re-enter just because we know that level is so good and we want to get into it again. I'm going to add you back to the stage. Drew?
Perfect.
Are you getting close to getting filled on your second ad?
I am. Yeah, I was monitoring that while you were going through your last points. I got 414.50 as my next ad area. We got as high as 413.85. I've since now come back about 50 cents on Tau. So we're out of the money just slightly. You can see there too, neat thing about Blowfin. And you notice we're not using very heavy positions in this. I've got a $10,000 account here with Blowfin. So I'm going in with 1/10 of positions with these trades. And you see right now we're down $10. Take profit area would have gotten us about $30. But I would be very interested to get an ad. Hopefully we get a nice poke through right here so we can pull that average up just ever so slightly, allowing us the opportunity to take more profits when the price does pull back down.
Yeah. Adam says, hi, guys. I went into the short trade on Tau as well. The chart as it's as well. I got into the short trade on Tau as well as it's hitting a previous support level, which is now resistance. Would you agree?
Yep. Right here.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I think that's what I saw that as well. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. That's a very good call. You can see here with these pivots that all basically happened right in this area. You can see when price came down to it, they got bounced up. It even right here, it bounced and went higher and then attempted to come back, got rejected. Basically, the story along this whole chart right now kind of all falls for this medium term right here on this trend line. Even when it broke here, it comes back up, gets rejected. So you're right. This area should be good resistance on Tau. So we should see some sort of pullback. And let's get back over there to Blowfin, see how close we are. 413.66, 413.76. I'm sitting at 414.50.
All right, guys, getting close to an ad, 60 cents away. I mean, and on this, what would you do? Would you take half off at your break even, or just look for, instead of $4, you're looking $2 on the whole position?
I'd still probably look for $3. And it all depends on the time that would look. I likely wouldn't be looking to take half off at break even, just simply because I've got some lower dollar values I'm working with here. So I'd like to see it just go ahead and pull out, and kind of like what we just touched on there on the daily and the hourly charts on Tau. We have good reason to be in this trade. This doesn't mean I think Tau is going to go down to $300. This is just a day trade scenario. This is a level on the charts that should pose resistance for Tau bit and source. So we'll see if that plays out, especially during the time frame that we're on the mic with you guys.
Yeah. All right. Some more questions. Heading into more questions. Again, go to our homepage to ask those questions. You have to be signed in to ask those questions. Okay, so John says, I have a general question about trading. Do you have any advice on how best to proceed if you have little capital but would like to do swing trading and or day trading? I was thinking of trying different platforms. Do you have any advice or other ideas? This is with crypto and stocks as well. Well, I mean, the first thing I would say that even if you don't have a lot of money, a lot of capital to trade, something that doesn't require capital is like education. There's tons of amazing free content on our website for you to check out. But crypto is always an option. People really like crypto because you don't need a lot of money to trade crypto with leverage.
We just got filled. Tau just pushed right through. We got filled there at 414.50. We're now at 415 now.
What's your average?
Average there is 413.19.
Okay, 413.19.
Yep. So I'll pull
Gonna add
the
that back
take
to the
profit
screen.
area up to 410.06. Tau now starting to rip, guys. So we may be getting at another ad level too. So we spaced that out 411 to 414, so about $3 higher. So around 417, which we're getting pretty close, folks.
Yeah, this thing's starting to rip now.
Right. So 7 short on about 417.27.
Let's see here. I wonder why it's pushing up. I mean, Bitcoin isn't really doing anything.
Yeah, 413.19 is the new average.
Yeah, nothing's really doing anything else.
Yeah, Tau. This is a really interesting crypto. Now I'm long with this in another one of my services, and so I do believe that this crypto's got a lot of way to run. Should and when Bitcoin starts settling itself and maybe making new all-time highs. But this is a fascinating coin, one that helps to develop AI, or at least that's their stance. Since we're so close, it'd be nice to get this next fill up here, 417.27.
While we wait on your fill, James says, I saw Drew has a position on perpetual future on TAO. I wasn't aware perpetual was allowed in the US, but it looks like Bluefin has preferred. Yep. Bluefin has futures available. Yep. Perpetual futures available. That's what we love about Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, Bluefin. Excuse me. Bitcoin too. Zachariah says Tao has some bullish news today, as it was mentioned in Crypto Banter show this morning. I don't know if that's enough to. I don't know if that's enough to.
Yeah, it just looks like it's going alongside of the rest of the market. It's not even the most popular one right now.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, the good thing is usually those are stocks or cryptos that I want to be involved with. If the news is somewhat good and folks react to it very positively and start pushing it higher, it likely can lose steam. If it wasn't something very fundamental changing like Ethereum, when it did have its double upgrade about a month ago with the Spectra upgrade.
Yep.
All right, about 50 cents away from the next ad, 417.27. And we've got about 17 minutes left too. So it's a race. It's a race against the clock.
Yeah. That's right. Let's see what other questions we have. For the 3,000 of you watching or so, again, go to verifiedinvesting.com to ask your question to us. Let's see what other questions we have. I'll give you a question, Ben, because it feels like Drew has just been yapping, as he likes to do.
What are you talking about? I've been doing most of the talking.
Can you check out how Ethereum is looking? I can see a bull flag on the long-term daily chart, but on a shorter time frame, like 1 to 4 hours, it's looking like a bear flag. What is your guys' take on the direction for a swing trade or a longer-term trade?
All right, so
I'll switch your charts.
Here's the Ethereum chart. It's kind of setting up bullish. I mean, it is bullish, right? And the reason I say that it's bullish is you've got this nice up move and this sideways consolidation. If you switch to the weekly, it's even more obvious. Got this huge up candle and then sideways consolidation. It's almost considered an inside bar pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So that right now is saying, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the next week or two, because it's consolidated so much underneath this resistance that anybody who had the opportunity or wanted to get out of this trade, who was short, has the opportunity to get out of it. And that's going to accelerate it to the upside, especially if it can start breaking out above $2,800. If it breaks out above $2,800, then there's going to be a lot of short covers in addition to the bullish sentiment because of the bull flag and this price consolidation underneath this resistance level. So overall, I think Ethereum has a lot more upside. Now, if this bull flag decides to break and we drop below $2,400 and start consolidating underneath it a little bit more, then it could have the potential to drop. But overall, right now, it's bullish.
You know, one thing I want to say, I 100% agree with you there, Ben. Like compare, like look at the how high or how far it is off the all-time highs of Ethereum. You can see there we were over $4,000, right? And we're now sitting at 2,500 and change. And Bitcoin is right near its all-time highs. And usually Bitcoin and Ethereum for the longest time were trading really close to each other. And then it's really fallen out of favor over the past couple of years. And so I agree with you, Ben. I think Ethereum has a long way to play catch up.
Yeah, actually Bitcoin is doing a nice job. Has this nice up move, a little bit of sideways to downward consolidation. So it could be forming a bull flag as well. Yep. So if that happens, then it's going to be good for Ethereum as well and the rest of the altcoin market.
Yep, no doubt about it. And notice, folks, there's a time count. There's time counts displayed right there on that chart, showing why Bitcoin's starting to fall back or at least consolidate at this moment.
Yep.
You know, do yourself. I know Lawton said something earlier. He was answering a question about education. You know, when I started trading, I was like, you know what? I've found these guys here. They provide awesome levels. I'll go ahead and get the education later. Once I've made enough money so I can just start buying that for free. And what happened was I was getting involved in positions that I didn't fully understand why I was in them. So I ended up losing money because I didn't have the education. Invest in yourself, get the education. No one will can take it away from you either. It's the best thing you can do to set yourself up for success, because Ben, Lawton, and myself, we're not going to be around every second of the day to help you through every one of your trades, as well as help you emotionally through them. So if you can educate yourself, it's really just going to set you up in the right place. Now, let me flip back over to me real quick because, oops, Lawton, I'm sorry I removed you.
Just kicked
it's
Lawton
all
out.
good. You just killed me. Wow, thanks.
There we go. All right. So you see now we're in the money. Price actions come down. This is a beautiful sell from that top. Just missed us adding up here at 417.27. So now we're in the in the money, $19. Want this to come down a little bit more to 410.06. Depending upon price action, how it flows over the next few minutes, I may snag profits and slide it up a little bit more, or we may just wait. And here, you know what? I'll put.
Look at that 10-minute possible topping tail on Tau.
Here, let's see. On Tau, 10-minute. Woo! See, guys, with this area of resistance, it's like a collaborative area with that trend line and that declining trend line. It should hold price down, and we see now price is really struggling to get through it, at least initially. All right, so we just need to pull down a little bit more, right around 410.48. I'll be happy to take profit right in that range. Notice how that corresponds with the high pivot right here on the charts, on the futures, the high pivot 410.41. So I'm sitting just slightly above that. Don't want this trade to go against us.
All right. Let's see what other questions you guys have. Again, a really quiet crowd for the 3,000 plus people sitting here. You guys aren't really asking any questions. Last question I received was 7 minutes ago. Surely you guys have some questions for us. All right.
Are we just answering things that good that there's nothing?
I think so. I have a question. It's a bit of a longer one. So all right, let's do this long question. Hitoshi says, hey guys, what are your thoughts on Star Atlas and its governance token, Polis? It's a leading game on Solana. I'm treating these as long-term holds. Maybe a few months this year they've dropped heavily from all-time highs. I'm in at 0.0. All right, take a look at Polis for me. Ben, let's just keep it simple. Polis, Polis. Yeah, I'm cracking. Yep.
Great.
At an entry price of 19 cents, he says.
Wow. Let's take a look at this on the daily. Look at this thing. I mean, it's just such a weak altcoin. There is no conviction whatsoever in this. You get these nice, huge runs up and then huge sell-offs. So what you're going to look for is a rounded bottom or a V-shaped recovery or something to that effect. Every once in a while, you can get these nice pushes, a nice push higher. You know, it went from 5 cents or 5.5 cents all the way up to 10.5 cents. So you had or close to 100% move. The problem is it just keeps getting pushed lower. It doesn't have enough volume, really. Look at this. When you guys are getting into altcoins or anything, the main thing you want to look for is the volume, right? It's got a $17 million market cap. There are some with over $1 billion. So you're looking at basically a micro cap of the altcoins. So of the $16 million dollars worth of market cap, or $17 million, you actually have to have a huge influx of buyers in order to push this thing up. Because you think about it, every buyer needs to have a seller. And if you're bidding, you're trying to get higher and you have sellers along the way, well, the sellers, if they creep in, they can actually start pushing it back down. And so with a lack of volume, you're at 36,000 shares today with an average 30-day of 100,000. I mean, you're not going to move the needle with that, unfortunately. So this is one that I would 100% stay away from. I wouldn't get into it. I mean, unless you're looking for like a lottery ticket or something, and maybe eventually Polis can get a larger market cap. But 17 million, it's not enough, and the volume it's just not enough to really do anything with. Sorry.
Cool. Awesome. A couple more questions here. Well, all the questions starting to flood in now. Towards the end of our show. Wow, that's crazy. One more for you, Ben. Adam says he's looking to short SUI about 342. What do you think?
All right, let's look at SUI. It's a tough short. What's the price?
342.
Ooh. So I wouldn't start a short position until you got to this red bar candle. And I guess the question is this is a day trade or a swing trade? For a day trade, $3.52 for a swing trade. What I would do is take a 618 fib retracement, $3.75 all the way up to $4.13.5. This is the area that I would get into a short for a short position for a swing trade. You've also got this down sloping trend line that I'm just noticing right here. So you got 1, 2, 3, fourth hit finally broke out. So on a technical basis, this is going to go higher. So now you want to wait for key technical levels. A key technical level would be the 618 Fibonacci retracement from this low or from this decent drop all the way back up. A better level would be the 75% Fibonacci retracement and the $4 even number.
Okay.
So I wouldn't start a position on SUI anytime soon for a swing trade.
All right. Let's go back to Juro here.
All right. Here, check this out, guys. So
that's Ben. I got you.
There we are. So you see price came down, and we've been talking about these trend lines that are moving left to right on the screen. Price came down, and I've also got this inclining trend line right here, which is mainly held price. Lawton and I were talking about that too for a potential head and shoulders pattern. And that this area has so far collected support for the bounce for Tau. So I know we're running against the clock here. So with that all being said, I have moved my take profit up just slightly there too to 411.36. We're currently now back out of the money just ever so slightly. But that is due to a substantial decent bounce and recovery on Tau after this, flash buy and flash sell that occurred here on the 1 minute chart of Tau. Flip over the 10-minute chart, you can see we've got a beautiful topping tail. What normally is going to happen in some of these situations, we normally retrace this topping tail and then eventually start selling more. Now, topping tails can be negated, as we've seen on this chart and others before. But usually that's how topping tails dictate future price action. We may have a big sell, then a reflex bounce back up, and then the sell would continue. So that would potentially put us into taking profit after we get off of this show. So I at least want to give you all some guidelines as to what I'm anticipating to do. We got about 5 minutes left. So let's see if we get maybe a bounce up and then pull back down on the charts, which will give us the opportunity to get out. But all in all, this is a good spot. If you look at this a larger time frame, the hourly chart of Tau, we should have some sort of reflex sell off of this, probably down to under $400. If I had more time to maybe hang in this trade, I would anticipate price coming from 414 down to around 400 before making another attempt to break this trend line to the upside.
Cool. All right, a couple more questions really quickly, and then we're just going to stick on Drew and then close it out. Hopefully close out this trade. Hunter's asking, can you cover exactly what makes the breakout confirmed?
Ooh. If you want more information on that, Gareth does an excellent job inside of the Winning Trader series. It's actually one of his most prized possessions. He created this over decades of teaching, monitoring the charts. So it's a proprietary signal that unfortunately we can't disclose on this live stream.
Oh, okay. Sorry. There you go. But we'll have a sale with Investor Empowerment Day.
That's right.
In less than a month. So look forward to that. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, he's been asking this question. Ben, I need you to do one more for me.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up? Shoot.
Sorry, buddy. Valentine says, can you please look at SPX, the crypto coin SPX? It seems to be setting up for a nice short, running into the upper parallel of an ascending channel coupled with the 786 fib. Wow. Okay.
All right, let's.
All right, Ben.
All right, just so you folks know too, while you're pulling that up, I did move my take profit to 411.91.
Okay. See if
about
we get
a buck
Phil.
away from that now.
So what do you think
so
about
the first thing is I will notice is that it's less than a year old, at least on the Kraken chart. I don't have anything outside of this. If it is getting into a shortable level, kind of similar to what I did the last time with SUIs, you want to look for resistance levels. So $1.45 would be the first level that I would even be remotely interested in this. The trading volume's pretty good. It's got 1.27 billion market cap, so it's quite significantly higher than that last one that I went over. So again, oops, not sure what happened there. Let's reset this. So getting back up to the 618 or the 75% Fibonacci retracement, $1.50 even number would be the level that I would be initially interested in a short on SPX USDT.
Cool. Thomas says, comparing day trading, crypto, and swing trading, which has the better win ratio, edge, and overall profit?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it depends. If you're using
depends on the volatility in the market.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no one has. I mean, you're going to use a lot more leverage when you're day trading versus swing trading.
Yep.
Well, not necessarily leverage, but your position sizing is going to be a lot bigger than a swing trade. Like we start with 1%, maybe 2%, depending on the volatility and the market conditions. We actually might even start with 0.5% of our portfolio, just so that way we can dollar cost average into our positions if we need to. Sometimes the altcoin markets can drop 15, 20, 30% in a matter of a couple of days. So that increases the risk because you're holding on to it for a longer term period. Whereas if you notice Drew, he's in Tau for a short, but he's got his defined stops and his defined targets, and he's looking for a much smaller gain. So if you've got really a lot of volatility in the markets where you're getting 10, 15% swings up and down, then you're going to make a lot more money day trading, just because in the altcoin market, sometimes the support and resistance can be so far away that you're going to need bigger moves for it to get up into resistance before we can look at entering it for a short, or get down into support before we enter it for a long.
Yeah, that's a great question, Thomas. All right, Drew, you want to walk him through your game plan? You might have a stop loss or an add or a profit taking level. I know Anna just asked what your stop loss is for Tau. And since time is winding down here, what are you looking for here?
Yeah, good question there. So we've got some fluctuation right here, trying to beat this trend line on Tau on the 1 minute. I would stop out at around 418, but I'm likely looking to go ahead. And since we are running out of time here, as I said, I think there should be a pullback on Tau to around the $400 level. That's a significant area. And we've had a nice pierce up above. So it's clearly taking profits or exiting the position right now is just mainly because we're running out of time. Now, if you wanted to hang into this a little bit longer, I don't blame you. Take profit zone is going to be right around the $400 area. 405 to 400 would be perfect. Stop out would be right around 418.
Okay, yep, 418 stop out around 405 profit level. Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I think we could have a decent pullback on that, especially if Bitcoin starts pulling in a little bit more. I'm going to slide up my exit on this just because, again, we're starting to run out of time. The exit I have at 412.84. So it's about 40 cents away.
Yep. And that's a good risk to reward ratio. It's about a 2-to-1. So
there we go. I'm out. Made a little bit of money. That's just enough to maybe go buy a couple sodas at lunch. But ultimately, I think, folks, this is a pretty substantial level for Tau in the very near term. Midterm, though, I think, and longer term, I think Tau can go much higher. So I wouldn't want to be hanging around in this for a long time. Ben highlighted Ethereum going higher. Tau is one of those I think's got some good potential. But hey, I could be wrong.
All right, we are out of Tau. What is the exact? When did you get out? What was your level?
Let's see. For order history, I did pull it out.
412.89.
Yep, there it is. You're right.
412.89. It's a little lower now.
Yep.
So we're out of Tau, guys, and we're also out of time.
Yep.
Out of time. So thank you so much for joining us again. My name is Lawton Ho. This is Benjamin Poole and Drew Dosek. We'll be live again next week, Monday, and every single Monday at 11:30 to answer more of your questions. If you want to get your questions answered, come early. Submit your questions on our website. And have a great day, guys. We'll see you.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We appreciate you guys.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.